Trump sucks, but you know who doesn't? Our next guest, NYC director Taibi Magar.
That's it. That's the best introduction.
Woo! Yeah. Thank you, Taibi, for coming on.
Thank you.
We're big fans of your work.
Yes.
Welcome.
To our illustrious studio.
It's so beautiful. That was a great apartment.
Thank you. So, you got a new show coming up at The Atlantic.
Yeah.
Lauren Yee's The Great Leap.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a story about a friendship game between America and China, a friendship basketball game, and it combines two of my loves. One is basketball.
Oh, nice.
I'm from North Carolina, so
okay,
it's
Jordan.
Michael Jordan actually babysat me.
What?
We should probably just stop the
What?
interview. Probably
And
stop the
we're
interview.
done.
Yeah. So, tell us about
Coolest
Michael Jordan.
thing.
Christ.
Yeah,
Holy
well,
shit.
North Carolina, I don't know. It's a relatively long story.
Right. Okay.
So basketball, and Lauren Yee, who's an amazing writer, and just has like a great, ferocious, like fun, and a contagious energy about her. So come see.
Nice. So what's the play about?
So it's about this basketball game, and without giving away too much.
Is this a true story?
No, it's sort of loosely based on Lauren's father, who played basketball and traveled to China. He was born in San Francisco, and our character is also, one of our lead characters is born in San Francisco, and traveled to China for a friendship game.
So he's like the original like Stephon Baybury.
I don't know that reference.
It's like I made a basketball reference.
Yeah.
We have our intro. That's the only one I have.
So that's what it's about. And then so it's sort of about family and basketball.
Oh,
and diplomacy between the East and the West.
All right.
Stakes are high.
Yeah. Is this your first time working with Lauren, or do you know her?
So I've been working on her commission for Trinity Rep, which I think for like 2 years now.
Okay.
And got pulled onto this project like last fall. But then our commission is happening, her commission, which I'm directing, is happening next season at Trinity.
Right. Yeah, I was looking that up. That was Song of Summer.
Yeah,
right?
the Song of Summer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So what is your dynamic like with Lauren?
You know, she's so smart. She's so fast at writing. Well, our first workshop for Song of Summer, I think she had like 20 pages or something, and we left rehearsal at like 6 p.m. And then the next, we started, I think at like 11 a.m. the next morning, and she had written 40 pages.
What?
I know, it's crazy. Dude. Like, I just think she's so good. It's like
Hamilton shit.
so
That's amazing.
So fast, and like none of it is like terrible. You know, it's all like decent, like well written stuff. I mean, a lot of it is probably not going to end up in the play, but like I just think that's her process here.
Yeah, but just like prolific writing process.
It's just amazing. I mean, I can barely write an email, so I just am like stunned at the amount of writing that Lauren gets done.
She's also super prolific. I see her plays like
prolific.
half of all the theaters in the nation are doing her plays. I'm like, how the fuck does she?
I know.
She's crushing it. She's crushing it right now.
And it's only beginning, like just knowing her.
Christ. Well, shout out to Lauren Yee.
Shout out to Lauren Yee.
Killing it again. Yeah, for sure.
So you've worked with Lauren already, but what was your path to directing? What led you there?
It's a good question. So I was really shy as a child, and my parents, they were pretty hippy-dippy, and they used to visit a psychic, and one time they were working with their psychic, and their psychic just out of nowhere was like, Taibi should get into theater. Which is crazy. I know. That's a sort of crazy game. And when they first told me, I was like, hell no. Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, we curse all
I
the
was
time.
like, fuck no, Mom and Dad. And then eventually it got to high school, and I didn't really have like an elective, and so my mom sort of like forced me into choosing theater.
Okay, so wait, how old were you when they went to the psychic?
I think I was like 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
The psychic was right.
The psychic was right. I mean, I don't know. So then I was like I was an actor, but I think we all started as actors.
Yeah.
Because like they're not letting you direct a play in ninth
Still
grade or
acting.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then so I went to my senior year of high school. I spent at North Carolina School of the Arts. They have like a 1-year senior program for actors in the state. And my teacher pulled me aside one day after class and was like, hey, I think you're a director. And I was like, fuck yeah!
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, and then he was like, just come watch one of my rehearsals. And it was a rehearsal of Master Harold and the Boys by Athol Fugard. And they were rehearsing the spit scene. And he started working on the scene. And I was like, oh, that's it. Like, that's me. I got it. Got it. So I was 18.
Wow.
I know it ever since. That's amazing.
Yeah, half my life.
Wow.
So speaking of your directing, you know, we were doing some research, and it seems like you have quite a style, and audiences sometimes come off and they feel like they're on the edge of their seat or sometimes on their toes. And would you feel like that's part of your directing aesthetic, or is it just kind of part of the plays that you choose?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I really like surprising an audience. I think that I really value the time that audiences are giving me and my collaborators. Like, I think about like for this show I just did at Soho Rep, right? It's I don't know, I guess 90 minutes, and there were 60 people in the audience. So what's like 60 times 90 minutes? I don't even know. I can't.
This is Is God Is, by the way.
Is God Is, yes, sorry, by Alicia Harris, the genius.
Right.
And so I just think about, like, every night, what is that? That's like the 90 hours of people's time, like, that I'm in charge of, right? And I want to make that so worth their while and something memorable, because that's an incredible amount of time to be given and to be responsible for. And I think I was bored a lot as a kid. And I'm so averse to that. I think I really enjoy being surprised, and I really enjoy curiosity and learning something and having like really powerful experiences. So that's sort of how surprise has like made its way into my work. I think I'm attracted to it.
I haven't. I mean, your show, Underground Railroad Game, which is Ars Nova. I really loved it, and now it has a national tour. It's on the road.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Going to Europe this summer. We're in London for a month.
I know, that's crazy. Yeah, but like I saw that Is God Is, and then I read up on, was it The Master, I think? And all of them have like really this element of sort of like engaging an audience, which is sort of unique. You know, like I guess it's not passive, which is sometimes what theater can be. You know, yeah, it's like really, really exciting.
Yeah. No, I've worked with Steve Akirgis, who's been one of our guests before, and one of his pieces of writing advice for me, which I've just put in my head forever, is that you're not allowed to bore your audience. Like you don't get a minute to bore them, because why are they even here? And I felt like that when I saw your play. I waited in the rain.
Did you?
Twice, and I got it while I had it cold, and it was worth it. It was such a good play. Holy, that was the best play I've seen in years. That was such a good play.
Thank you. It's an incredible piece of writing.
How much does space sort of like influence sort of that aesthetic?
Space is everything. I mean,
that scenic design was amazing.
No, that's Adam Rigg for you. He's blowing up. Oh my God, get him.
Shout out to Adam Rigg.
Adam Rigg. Yeah, I mean, set design is sort of. If I was smarter, I think I would be a set designer, but I'm not. But I love space, and I love bodies in space, and I think I have a lot of instincts about it. And I love my process as a set designer, and that's often where you begin, because that's the thing that's due first. It's the most expensive, and it's the thing you can't change. And so I really focus in hard on the set design, because I feel like everything stems from that. We're all in response to the set design from the moment that shit gets finalized.
Right.
And so if you don't solve the play in space, then I feel like you're fighting an uphill battle.
Right. Because for Is God Is, there's this, obviously it's very shocking when the first death happens.
Yeah.
But it's like really shocking when the set collapses. And I was like, what the fuck? This is crazy.
Yeah, that was our third version of the play.
Wow.
God bless Adam Rigg for staying with me for the first two versions. Or we get to it, and then finally I'd call Adam. I'd be like, I don't know. I think we're at the end of this one. I don't know if it works. And then he'd be like, okay, got it. What's up? No, what's next? And then we
bless him,
kept
because
chasing.
if I got the note, like, okay, that's good, but I'm gonna need you to build me a mountain.
Like,
you know what?
I know. But I think we learned so much from each version. That's and there are elements from each version that ended up in the third version. So it was clearly worth that. That's such an amazing design.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It made a huge impact. I adored it. I thought it was absolutely amazing.
You've worked on a bunch of projects. Is there any particular favorites, personal favorites that you have? And why, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I think there have been some really, really instructive ones. I mean, I would say the most instructive one that maybe felt I was able to spend the most time on and felt most personal was my thesis, which is maybe a weird thing to bring up. But I directed The Skin of Our Teeth by Thornton Wilder my third year at graduate school. I went to Brown Trinity. And, I chose it a year before it happened. And because it was an older playwright, the playwright isn't in the room, so you sort of behave differently, I think, as a director, right? Like, I was really taking it and trying to understand why now, and I had a lot of time to be inside of it. And I think it was really special because I was making it with the 17 people in my class who I love. And the more that I do this, I realize the thing I'm going towards is not like some Broadway, I guess, I wouldn't mind the paycheck, but it's the people. I'll answer the call if you want. I'll pick up the phone.
We can't rule it out.
But it was such a powerful experience for me as a director. I mean, there's so many challenges inside of that play, formally and theatrically, and just all the things. But that I came out the other side like a stronger director, and I think a better human because of that piece of writing that I love so much.
I'm really curious to see how you would describe your own aesthetic. I know we've already described sort of like this really level of engagement, but like, do you feel like that is your sort of signature, or do you feel like you have your own other interpretation of your own style?
That's a good question. My own interpretation of my style is I like thoughtful rebellion. Which is like, I feel like I've always had this tension between like, I think I've always had very rebellious impulses, but then I've had this tension of wanting to be like good for a mom and dad, and I feel like that's the thing I've like been born into. So I want to rebel and break the rules constantly, but I always want to do it for a reason. Not just being weird or crazy to be weird and crazy, but to sort of break through something both for myself and for the audience. And I think I have like this curiosity about the unknown that I think sort of drives my work, and the thing that you can't articulate. So I think that's fine.
No, I think that's really dope because I think you can probably attest to this too, is that we see a lot of theater in the capacity of the show, and so much, I see so often that companies shock you, because shock value in their mind equals tickets.
Edgy or whatever.
Yeah, and I hate it when there's no reason for it. Like if it's like, shock people because the work is shocking and that you are shocked by it. But so that's why I love what you're saying, because you actually have like a reason and a purpose for what you do, and it's so important to have that, because otherwise it's it just doesn't feel authentic.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a waste of resources. I mean, I think more and more I'm just thinking about how much money all of this costs. So I'm thinking about people's time, people's money, and trying to make it the most potent, exciting thing that you can.
Bang for your buck for sure.
No, you do not bore audiences. I think that's fair.
In Underground Railroad, I love that moment where the two characters, the teacher characters, like they go back to their bedroom and they're like having this. It starts off where it's like sort of kinky, and then it gets like a little racial, and then it gets like basically like a slave auction-esque, like super problematic, and like the journey. The emotional journey to that moment is it like just was so mind blowing. I was like, wait, is this going where I think it's going, and then it keeps going even farther than that? It's just like incredible. The how you push boundaries and you just keep it going. What's the rehearsal for that like?
I mean, that's interesting that you bring up that one. Because I very much feel as a director, like I think I used to think a director needed to have all the answers. And I remember trying to find the ending for that scene, which I guess we won't spoil. But when I took on the project, it didn't end like that. And so I remember being in a rehearsal room in Philly and just sort of like trying to push through and find the end climax of that scene, I guess. And I would say, what is it like to rehearse that? I mean, what the gift that I was given is that Scott and Jen, the amazing performer creators of the piece, already had years of experience with each other and years of experience on the piece already, and had an implicit trust. So it was kind of a beautiful room, and that they were so deep inside it and they really trusted with each other, so they could take really big chances. And so all the rehearsal process was for me was like just asking questions and just saying yes and trying to really try things, really try things. And so we landed, eventually figured out what it was. I mean, the ending of that play, I think we went through legitimately on paper about 40 ideas.
Wow.
In actual staging, I think I staged 3 different versions before we landed on the one, but we went through so many different options. So the rehearsal process, I think, is just saying yes and trusting each other.
Wow. Yeah, I guess
it's so cool to hear that that the people that you've collaborated with are willing to work with you as a director with regards to how the play is, because I know that's not always the case. So I was wondering, now that you're getting your pick a little bit, and that you're getting some submissions, what is something that attracts you to a script? Like when you read it, you're like, oh, this is something I can consider.
Yeah, I just read one of those, and I think it's that I think that it feels new. I like things that are challenging form and that take me by surprise, and that I can't totally understand on paper. I love a good dare from a writer, which is why I think I'm attracted to pieces like Underground Organ and Master and Is God Is. It's just sort of like, how the fuck would you do this? Or Skin of Our Teeth, which is or I did Marisol in graduate school too. Which
all these, Rivera. That's how do you?
Impossible things. I just love the way it kicks my brain in, and it revs me up in a way that makes me really excited. So I like not knowing how to do something. I think which is funny. I recently realized this about myself, which is I only like making new recipes when I'm cooking.
Oh, really?
I rarely, if ever, if I'm begged to, I'll by my fiance, I'll repeat a recipe. But otherwise, I'm only making new things that I don't know how to do and that I don't know what the result tastes like.
Fascinating.
I just got into a new apartment, so I've been planning dinner parties.
Okay, good. I'll come over. I'll try some things on you.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that.
If you can talk to your younger self, or talk to a room full of hopeful directors, up and coming directors, do you have any advice for them or for your younger self?
When I was a younger director, I felt like there were a lot of things in my way. I think I applied to Drama League 5 times or something. Which is Drama League is one of the 5 things you can get as a director in New York City. And I felt like, I had to get that. I had to get that in order to be that. And that's just not true. And I think it took me a long time to realize that external validation actually doesn't do it. I mean, the people who were getting Drama Leagues when I was trying to get them are no longer really working, which is interesting. Does that sound rude?
No, whatever.
No, I mean, I just there's an establishment and there's a pipeline for directors, and I very much was outside of that pipeline. Right. I grew up economically disadvantaged. My parents really had no money. We ate government cheese on a few occasions. I had to go to an undergrad that wasn't very was not Ivy League. It was not very sexy. No one had really heard of it, especially for directing. Right. And those kinds of things are what get you into Williamstown, or or because you have wealthy parents who can take these free internships where they don't pay you anything. I still don't understand how people do that.
Right. Well, cheers to that. I'm a product of public education.
Yeah, exactly.
I've only been a public education. Kyle too. Kyle, CUNY Hunter, what's good?
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So those pathways, I think, are set up to advantage people from certain backgrounds, and I think that was really hard, and I felt like I was up against a mountain. And I think the turning point for me was when I realized how to stay inside the art form and stay committed to that, and actually make those things my advantage. Well, it took a long time.
we're
a lot of
built
tears
overnight, but also, to be even more, to throw some more adages in there. You know, what is it? If Muhammad won't come to the mountain, that's really that's amazing. That's amazing because I have a lot of love for that because I think that I see these people that have those free internships and that don't work. And I'm just like, oh, this is such an expensive city.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know, and so I think it's incredible when people actually continue and don't give up in that. So I commend you. That's amazing. Yeah. And look where you are now. Yes, God is relentless.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, I think in American theater, I think we're awakening to that more, and I would like to say that I think people are recognizing that a little bit more, and I actually feel really excited about where we're headed. I feel like between that and the fact that there are so many artistic directorships up right now, I feel, and there's so many great playwrights. Like I feel very blessed to be in this moment with people like Alicia Harris, who wrote Is God Is, Brandon Jacob Jenkins, Jocelyn Bio, who you've had on here. It's like a really thrilling moment, and then with this change in leadership, I feel like I'm hopeful and excited that things will get better and better.
Yeah, well, cheers to that.
Yeah.
Cheers to the future. Cheers to the future.
It's exciting. I'm very happy to be where we are now.
All right, last thing, you know what it is. It's that time. Recommendation.
Oh my God.
Tell the people.
Hello, people. I recommend a few things. One is I'm super into podcasts. I know I'm not the only one. But there are two that I think as a director are really informing the way that I think and move through the world. One is the Slate Culture Gabfest, which is just an amazing, it's like 3 people and they bring on a lot of guests. And there's like 3 of the smartest people that I think I've ever heard. And they talk about movies, they talk about TV shows, occasionally they talk about plays, that's always very exciting. They talk about articles, they talk about current events, and they're very smart, and the way they talk about story and narrative is really thrilling to me. And also the podcast Still Processing.
Oh, New York Times, Still Processing. Jenna Wortham, right?
Jenna Wortham and Wesley Morris. I'm obsessed.
Yeah, best critic. So, and I think podcasts are really great in the theater because we do a lot of commuting, or maybe just I do a lot of commuting. So they're really good for plane rides.
New York.
Yeah. And then the other thing I'm going to recommend are phone calls.
Oh,
I know. I don't mean it to be like, but I am finding recently I'm so buried in email, and I think I spend like all day just trying to stay ahead of my email. And I'm finding actually that like I'm putting down the email and making the phone call, and not only do I feel like I have a deeper connection with my collaborators and my colleagues in the industry when I pick up the phone, but it's more productive. You spend like 20 hours going back and forth about an email where you could just have like 30 minutes.
I'm all about that. Like, you don't even understand. Yeah, I call my friends and they're like, why are you calling me?
I know.
I'm like, because this is easier.
I know. But then you can text and be like, hey, when's a good time to chat? And usually people will come around. No, I also am someone who hates talking on the phone. So like, this is really weird coming out of my mouth. But lately, it's the kind of connection that I feel like we need to make the work better.
You get more done too. I think you're absolutely right.
Anything for saving time.
Yeah, man. Throwback to like 2001.
Yeah.
Like 2010.
Yes. I guess that's when I was making all the phone calls.
2001.
Yeah.
You're hanging out on the phone.
I'd be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, that show my age? Whatever.
It happens.
All right, well, Taibi.
Hey.
Thank you for coming on. Cheers. Thank you so much.
So much fun.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers. Woo.